Hey everyone, it's Carolyn. Today I have another past life reading for you. So we're going to be looking into who you were and what karma you have carried over into this lifetime. So past life readings are great to gain insight on yourself through your subconscious. And so if this is something you want to learn about, definitely continue to watch this video. If you feel like you want to learn about your past life, but you're not vibing with the cards here, you don't feel like this is a right fit for you, I do have a whole past life playlist. Go ahead and check out the other videos I have uploaded. It could be that you're meant to get a past life message, but you have to find the past life that is actually yours. This, I think, is just more the delivery system for you to look into your past life. And for those of you where you're drawn to watch multiple past life readings, that's totally okay. We all have multiple past lives, and they're all going to affect us differently. We're going to carry different things from them. And when we watch a past life reading, it's not so much about what happened in that past life, it's more about how that past life is affecting you. And so it could be that your life's being affected by multiple past lives right now, and that's why you're meant to watch multiple. And if you're scrolling through the playlist and you don't find a past life reading that you're drawn to watch, I do sell readings, so you can always purchase one that's personalized for you, that will be your past life specifically, because this is a general message. It's for lots of people. These readings are a little bit more broad on YouTube. And if you find that this reading resonates for you and you're drawn to leave a donation, I really appreciate all your support. It really helps out the channel as well. And so all the ways you can contact me, either to purchase a reading or to send a donation, is going to be in the description box down below. And like I said, whatever way you can support the channel, whether it's through subscribing, liking, sharing the video, leaving a donation, or purchasing a reading, I'm really thankful for the support because it allows me to continue to make videos like this. I post new videos every single week. I do more past life readings like this. I also do other fun collective readings along with pick a pile readings, and I also do educational videos to help you all along your spiritual journeys. So getting into today's reading, we have health, father, and the arts. This is representing kind of the who, what, and where. So what I'm picking up for you is that your past life took place during the Renaissance. And during this time in the Renaissance, things with medicine were starting to be developed. People were looking into different things. And I think you were a part of that because of the health card here. To me, I think you took an active interest in trying to find solutions to things. And I think the reason for that is you have the father card here. This makes me think that in your past life, you were a father and your child was very important to you. So in this past life, you were a man. And I think the reason that you got involved with medicine is that you were very smart. I think you were a very wise person. I mean, you have scribe and writer here. So it was very easy for you to record things, look back at things and understand them, look back at things and keep records of them, that you were then able to decipher to other people. I think you were a very organized and methodical, logical type of person. But I also get the sense it's like you allowed yourself to experiment and you allowed yourself to have fun within your own sense of logic, within your own sense of structure. You were a little bit eccentric for the type of person that you were. You were not just like this stoic, methodical person. You were definitely someone where you had these two almost conflicting sides to you. And I think in a sense, because you have the scribe and writer here and then the high priestess or priest, it gives this energy of this push and pull within you. And I'm going to get more to this when we get to the karma. But setting the foundation for this past life, I get the sense that your child was very important to you, and they're the reason that you got into experimenting with health and trying to figure out different types of medicines. I think you came from a line of family in which you had a lot of home remedies, you had a lot of knowledge of medicine to begin with. I think your family could have been herbalist, or someone in your family kept a lot of records about what different foods and different combinations of plants would help you when you were feeling sick or when there was an issue that needed to be healed. It feels like there was some records that you had passed down from your family line, but now during this Renaissance time, you were taking that to another level where you were really trying to find a solution to things beyond the home remedies type of you. To me, it feels like there was a lot more dedication, time, effort put into this, and I think it's because your child could have gotten sick or there was something going on with them where you were focused on trying to save them, of trying to protect them. This also was at the time around where the bubonic plague was, so it could have been that you were fearful that your child would get it and you were one of the people who was trying to find a way to cure it and protect your child. But it comes down to your child was your main motivation, your main drive, and so I think you had a very loving and compassionate side. Even though you're methodical and logical, it wasn't like you did all that but you didn't have a heart. I think you actually had a very big heart, and I think you cared about your child a lot, and that is why you did the things that you did. And so it's like you had this again, dual personality where you could be strategic, you could be cold if you needed to be. And I think you were able to set boundaries easily in this lifetime because you had the ability to kind of switch things on and off when you no longer wanted to interact with people. So I think you had like a close knit type family in which you cared about them and they were like your number one. But then people outside of your family, including friends, it's like you only had so much time and energy for them that when you were not in the right headspace to hang out with them, you wouldn't entertain it. It feels like you were very good at saying no when you wanted to and using that as a complete sentence. And I think that actually made people kind of admire you because it's like, yeah, you were kind of off doing your own thing, but it's like you were so methodical. It's like you were seeing results. But you also had this other side to you where it wasn't completely turning people off. It's like they understood why you were doing what you were doing. It's almost like you had this very charismatic side of you, but it wasn't like you were super charismatic where you were charming people. It was almost in the sense of like you were so aloof that you were mysterious and people took interest in you because of that. So getting into this past life karma, you have scribe and writer, and then you have high priest or priestess. And to me, the reason why I kept bringing up this duality for you is I think you were definitely like a science-based person. You were trying to be focused on, facts and logic, but you were psychic. And I think you didn't fully develop your psychic abilities because you were afraid or you didn't fully know how. And so it feels like there was this untapped side of you that you never got into that made you drawn to medicine. I feel like the people in your family, they could have been psychic and they passed down their gifts to you. And that's why you were drawn to medicine. That's why they kept such thorough records, because they had the gifts, they had the abilities, and they were doing it for that reason. I think you had the gifts, and I think that could have been with your child too. You were able to sense the danger ahead of time, and that's why you wanted to get into this healthcare. That's why you were always drawn to it, because you always had this psychic knowledge, but you didn't fully know that's what it was. To me, it feels like you were so trapped by your own rules, by the things that you told yourself, that you weren't actually able to tap into this gift besides just becoming an herbalist. And so it's almost like you had this part of your life that you just locked away, you shut it away because you didn't know what to make of it. You didn't understand it. And I don't think you had someone in your life who you could have talked to about it. I feel like the psychic relatives were generations before you. So yeah, you had some knowledge passed down, but you didn't have anyone to talk to. You didn't have anyone who could have related to you. And I also think you were afraid to try and say anything to others about what you sensed because there was no rhyme or reason or logic to it, and you were afraid that others would take it the wrong way. So it's like you kind of kept it to yourself, and I think that's part of why you were also mysterious too. You didn't really allow yourself to open up to others outside of your family. And I'm also getting the sense that part of this karma was that you would write things psychically. You would get these channeled messages and you would just write it down and do automatic writing without realizing it. And I think that kind of freaked you out a bit, and that's why you didn't talk to others about it, because I think you thought that you were just like blocking out. Or that you were losing your mind, because there wasn't really talks about this. And so I think it scared you, and so like you try to suppress it, you try to shut it down, and when it would happen you would just ignore it because you didn't know what to make of it. And I think in this lifetime, like your current one, you should really try doing automatic writing if you haven't already, especially those of you where you are trying to develop your psychic gifts and you haven't figured out a way that feels right for you. Try automatic writing. I think that is definitely something that has carried over to this current lifetime. And I think in this lifetime, you're someone where you're meant to step into your psychic abilities, to your psychic gifts. You really have the power to do so, but there's going to take a lot of learning to do with it because you have to unravel all the suppression of this past life. But I'm also sensing that when it comes to developing your psychic abilities in this lifetime, there's going to be as much that you have to do and act with and learn from your own intuition and your own gut, but then you're also going to have to research things. I feel like because you were so methodical in that past life, it's carried over into this lifetime, where sometimes the way that you need to break things down in order to be able to do them is to learn as much as you can about it. So I would say if you have a specific way of divination that you want to be able to do, research it, learn about it, and then start practicing it. I think in a way that's going to teach your past life self that it's okay, you don't have to suppress it. I think when you do try and tap into your psychic gifts without fully understanding it, that fear pops up again. And I'm also sensing some other form of karma that has passed down into this lifetime. We have authority figures. So to me, this is indicating that there's something going on with your parents. Either your parents from your past life are now in this current lifetime and they're this type of authority figure in your life, or your parents in this current lifetime are people from that past life who are now affecting you. And I think the karmic lesson for you to learn is that you're not responsible for, like, the authority figures in your life. You're not responsible for keeping the peace between them. You're not responsible for their own happiness or doing things because you need them to be proud of you. I think in this past lifetime, there was such unconditional love that you had for your child. And that's what you need to remember in this lifetime, is that it's okay to leave. It's okay to travel. It's okay to go to new places because you don't have to sit and hold anyone's hand anymore. I think you have this internal dilemma when it comes to authority figures in your life, that you have to appease them, that you have to make them happy. And while that's not a bad thing, you don't have to do it at the cost of yourself. I think your purpose in this lifetime is that you are able to find your own sense of peace, that you're able to explore things, travel. And this can be physical travel, like some of you might actually need to go to Asia, but others, this doesn't have to be physical travel. This is a mental traveling in which you are able to explore different sides of you and almost tap into this energy of experimenting. But instead of experimenting with science, with research, it's experimenting of yourself. There's this karma in which you feel like you need to be the glue to hold everything together. And I feel like your past self is telling you, like, that's not your responsibility. Especially for those of you where you're a child of divorce and you feel like you either abandoned one parent or you felt like you weren't able to choose, or you feel like you need to decide. I would really recommend for you to take some time to sit and either do shadow work or go and see a therapist and break down the fact that it's not your fault, that it's not your responsibility to take care of the adults in your life. In this current lifetime, it's like you carry such great responsibility. And even in this past life, you took responsibility for your child where you carried so much pressure on yourself. But in this lifetime, you're meant to learn how to release it, how to let it go. Yes, try your best to give as much effort as you can to something. But if you're no longer able to bend and you're going to break, you need to realize that what you're doing isn't working. It's not making sense. Karmically, you're meant to learn how to adapt in this lifetime, how to take the pressure off yourself where things are sustainable. And I think the reason for that is because in this past lifetime, yes, what you did was really great. You really were looking out for your child, but you got carried away with it, and that led to your death, because we have Atlantis and we have Native American. And the combination of these two cards, it was just giving me this vibe of you being this herbalist, and you were experimenting so much with different types of medicine and different ways to treat things. And you were only testing it on yourself. You didn't want to test it on your child. You didn't want to hurt them. And I think you didn't want to risk hurting others. So the only time you would test things on others is if they desperately needed it. But I think when you had no one else to try different things out for you, you would do it on yourself. And I think eventually your body couldn't handle it. And I'm getting a little bit of different energies on this death. So I feel like there could have been multiple times in which you did things to yourself and they really started to take a toll on you. Because I'm getting this energy of you trying different things out and them messing with your mind so much that you aren't able to think clearly. You're not able to really be yourself. And so as a result, you weren't able to be as thorough with your work as you once were. You weren't able to keep as clear, concise records because you weren't the same afterwards. And then I'm also sensing that there was an incident in which you actually overdosed and that led to your death. So I think there could have been a couple warning signs leading up to the actual overdose, but you were so determined to try and research and find things and help people. And so it's like, yes, your motivations were in the right place, but you ended up doing too much. You did too much damage to yourself that you couldn't come back from, that you couldn't recover. And I think that's why in this lifetime, it's like, yes, you're faced with these pressures, but you're meant to karmically learn to release them and not let them break you. Yes, it's okay to take on responsibility. It's not saying not to take on any burdens or pressure or responsibilities in this lifetime. That would not be sustainable either. But you have to do so within reason. And if something is not working and no matter what you're doing, it's not going to work, you need to allow yourself to realize it's not worth it. You've experimented, you discovered, you researched, and now it's time to say, I failed. Now it's time to find another thing to test out or another thing to try or discover about yourself. But this lifetime, your purpose is really meant for inner discovery and inner peace, where you're focusing on yourself. You're becoming a little bit more selfish. And going back to this past life, you were able to set great boundaries with people outside of your family. But when it came to your child, that's where you had a lack of regard for yourself. And so then moving into this current lifetime, it's almost like you progressed where now you just have no boundaries for anyone. It feels like you're really just giving yourself to everyone and allowing yourself to be drained, allowing people to take your energy. And your purpose in this lifetime is to build up these boundaries that you had, but not just stop at your friends, also set boundaries with your family, with your loved ones. There's nothing wrong with healthy boundaries. It's not saying to overcorrect and shut yourself off from others, but you need to put yourself first because no one else is going to. And by doing that, you're going to find your own sense of peace. You're going to find your own sense of identity because you've allowed yourself to continue to experiment in this lifetime, but you need to do so within reason, so that it doesn't lead to your demise again. This current lifetime is meant for you to embrace the good parts of that past life, but learn how to protect yourself instead of constantly always protecting others. This current lifetime, you're meant to tap into your psychic abilities, but also learn how to set boundaries for yourself on a spiritual level and on a practical level. You're meant to embrace who you are, discover things about yourself, and not let others stop you from doing so because they need your help or because they want you to do something else. This lifetime is not about people pleasing. This lifetime is about yourself. And I think that's why the karma is with authority figures, because it's so hard to say no to them. It's really testing you in this lifetime. But you're being told from your spirit team, focus on yourself, focus on your own happiness, your own peace, what you want. And by putting yourself first, things will fall into place. Things might not always be perfect, but they will work out. You just need to allow yourself to keep pushing for solutions, pushing for ideas, pushing for who you are, and not letting others define you. And so I think that's why you were drawn to watch this past life reading today, because it's warning you, don't let others stand in your way. Don't let others hold you back. Even though you might think that you're helping someone, you can't help someone while it's hurting you. You can help people when it's in alignment with you, when helping them isn't taken away from you, or you have the means to do so, where you planned out, okay, yes, I have to make this sacrifice, but I want to because I'm able to. When you're at a place in which you're giving to others because you can, that's when it's healthy. But when you're constantly giving and not taking and you don't have that balance, it's going to become detrimental. And so your spirit team doesn't want you making the same mistakes that you did in this past life. They don't want you to break. They want you to learn how to adapt, how to figure things out, and discover another path, another option. So I really hope this helps you out. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below how this resonated for you. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. It really helps out the channel, so I really appreciate it. And also subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I'm going to have more of my videos linked in the cards above for you to watch next. And if you want to purchase your own reading or leave a donation for this video, both of which are greatly appreciated, all the links to contact me is going to be in the description box down below. I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye.